my session is about like, a little bit a different side of the world, which is not the language. It's more about the technical side or like the career side. So I want to make sure everybody is getting different flavors from this session. So like I'll start with my journey where I'm from. I'll give you a little bit context about like what Salesforce is. I don't know like who knows Salesforce and how much they know Salesforce. So I'll try to keep it as simple as I can, where anybody who is a beginner or who is already in the Salesforce ecosystem, they can understand at the same level. So myself, I'm Chirag Gulati and been in the Salesforce ecosystem for 14 years. And I now run a small company and a small team called Rev Solutions, where we are specialized in CPQ and billing. Um, Salesforce, obviously, it's a big platform, big community, but within that, there are different niche or different clouds or different areas. So, Revenue Cloud or CPQ is what we do. I started as a developer and then, moved into different roles, being a consultant, being an architect, and then picked a lane of Revenue Cloud, code to cash, or you can say lead to cash. So I throwed a little bit of like, different jargons, different words here. I'll try to keep, explaining all those, like what is Revenue Cloud or what is code to cash, what is lead to cash. So just bear with me. So in terms of journey, I think this is probably, you could be at every part of this journey, but wherever you are, I think you can join in and maybe this is where you want to be. If not, but in general, Salesforce has plethora of career opportunities. You can choose wherever you want to go. So I'll try to touch some of those areas at the end. But this is where I started. I was a developer and worked with several different consulting firms like Accenture, Cognizant, IBM, even Salesforce professional services, and worked within the several different industries. I was doing so much technical work where I was not able to see the bigger picture, and then I realized, I need to understand where I'm adding some value, like what impact I'm making in the world. So I shifted gears. I started looking from a different lens, which is like, from the business side. I started doing some consulting in a way that understanding what business problem are we solving, how we are solving. So like moving from little bit on the technical side and just more on the business, and then not leaving the technical side behind, but like also understanding from a bigger picture perspective. So consulting and architecture is where I started learning, rather than like just doing code or just doing the job which was given to me, understanding why we are doing it, how we should improve it, and things like that. And then, over the time, I realized there is no way one person can do everything. So picked my lane, which was the CPQ in the Salesforce world, and then started my own company. So, like, if we talk about the Salesforce or like business, like what I learned during these 15 years, if I have to put this into this session, so, I want to make sure you get everything what you need to prosper your career. So this talk, what I'm gonna continue on is like for anybody who is new to Salesforce, who is in the Salesforce, but like they need some clarity how they can improve or how they can add more career capital to their resume. And then like, every now and then people in the industry might have heard about like what is Revenue Cloud, what is CPQ. So like I'll try to explain what those areas are. So if I start with the start, any business can be put into two different buckets. One is B2B, another is B2C. B2B is essentially where it's business to business. B2C is business to consumer or individuals. So the big example for B2C is Amazon. B2B could be like any business that we do, like, any business. meaning like there is the Amazon side of the business to business dealing as well. There's Best Buy. Um, so what is the difference in terms of B2C and B2B? So B2C is easy in a way, like it could be an easy sale. There is not much negotiation. It's faster. B2B is where like the complication comes in. And that's where like the origination of any CRM is, like, because there are multiple actors, multiple stakeholders. The deal cycle is longer. There are contracts. There are different decision makers. So to track all those things, we need a CRM system. So for the understanding of this session, we will focus on the B2B side of the things. So I'm assuming everybody understands Salesforce, but within Salesforce, what is CPQ? So Salesforce is the CRM, but CPQ is a small subset of like what we can do in a business. Essentially, if we are talking about B2B sales, so when a business is dealing with another business, they will ask for their requirements, and then in return, the business or the vendor would provide a quotation in written, like, for example, what products are you buying? What services are you buying? What's the quantity? What's the price? Are there any obligations? What are the terms and conditions and things like that? So that's basically quotation, or in small, can also, in like abbreviation can be like quote. So Salesforce had a quote object, but not very functional. So there was a company called Steelbrick. They created a CPQ system. So CPQ stands for configure, price, quote. So basically, you can configure your products and give it a price and give it, generate a code. So all of that can be automated, all of that can be standardized using CPQ system. So that's essentially the problem which CPQ system is solving. So later, Salesforce CPQ was like Steelbrick was acquired by Salesforce. Salesforce rebranded as Salesforce CPQ. Steelbrick had a small component of Invoice It, which was a separate company which they acquired, and which it came under Salesforce umbrella, and it was rebranded as Salesforce Billing. So that's where the Salesforce CPQ started. It was not built by Salesforce. It was two different companies which was acquired by Salesforce and rebranded as Salesforce CPQ and Salesforce Billing. So I mentioned quite a bit of like lead to cash, quote to cash. What are those terms, right? Like, so if you can see, so we have Salesforce quote to cash. So there are different components within like the business process, which I mentioned. So there is CPQ where we can configure the product. There's invoicing, how the invoice is generated, how we bill the customer, how the order is placed, how the order is fulfilled. Um, if there is manufacturing, like it could be like you are placing an order today, but you will get your product 6 months down the lane. It could be the product can be shipped in three different orders. So all of that is order management. And then like any obligations like contracts which are generated, like for say you buy a product for next 3 years, so you are obligated to pay every month or every year. So that's the contract. And then CRM is essentially like where everything is all of this is holded together. So this is what the code to cash was. Every like there were different components, but everything was tied back on the Salesforce. So let's take an example to understand, how this would look like in a real world scenario. So, let's take Cam and like this Punjabi Force example, right? So Punjabiforce is a company, and they started their own processes. They started doing this communities, and they need some technical. They need all the infrastructure. They need laptops. They need developers. They need designers. They need finance people. So fast forward 5 years, it's a big organization, right? So they need all the systems and processes they need to run the organization. Now they go to Best Buy, they put their requirements in front of the sales rep saying, we need high RAM laptops for our developers. We need MacBook Pros, external displays for our designers, for the finance people. We need, maybe, light laptops, but we need extended warranties. And like we need all of these. These are our requirements. So what the people at Salesforce, at Best Buy would do, they will take all of that requirement, put in their system, generate a code which would have the prices alongside with each product they are looking to buy. Now, Punjabi Force team says, like, we are buying all these products, we need some bulk discount. So the sales rep can apply saying, all right, like, you're buying 10 laptops, you're buying all these modems and things like that, we can give you 10% discount, which is good. Now, the 10% is applied, but then we also want that we, for the next 5 years, if we place more orders, we should get the same price. So that's the contract pricing. So in that case, what happens is like all of that rules or all of those requirements are captured, discounts are applied, and a quotation is created. Now, quotation is given to the Punjabi Force people, and then they sign it, they get it into a contract. The contract is basically, which is like CLM. And now Best Buy says, all right, we have this new customer. We have to ship all these laptops. So that's basically they will place an order with their order management team. They will take all of that requirement and start shipping out the laptop. It could be, 5 laptops are going in London, 5 laptops are going in US, 2 laptops are going in India. Like it could be different, like I said, like it could be different shipping orders. So that's basically the order management and how they are billed. If there are like additional shipping charges, additional taxes that needs to be applied. So all of that will be managed in their billing system. So that's essentially, like I said, like there were different systems which were used within Salesforce, and it was quite defragmented. The data was all over. Somebody who is managing the lead has a different view. Somebody who is creating the code, has a different view, and from a finance people who were creating all the invoices and collecting all the payments, they had a different view. So Salesforce realized it's like as they grew, more and more customers were starting using the CPQ. They realized it's a problem because now data is not at same view or like everybody's not seeing the same data. So they introduced what we call today is Revenue Cloud. So Revenue Cloud essentially was initially introduced last year around February 2024, and initially it was called as RLM, or Revenue Lifecycle Management. And then later around Dreamforce, it was changed from RLM to Revenue Cloud. And then in February 2025, the same product was further segmented into two different SKUs, which is like, Revenue Cloud Advanced and Revenue Cloud Billing. It's the same product from a Salesforce, what they sell, but different functionalities in a way like, whether you want the billing functionality or not, you can choose just the CPQ side of things, or you want the billing as well. So essentially, like I said, like CPQ was there, CPQ is there, but it has like different it has its own challenges. Like a lot of things has to be customized, like specific to industries. Telecom has their own use case, manufacturing has their own use case, and all of those use cases were custom developed on top of what Salesforce provide the out-of-the-box functionalities. So Revenue Cloud was taken into consideration where like it can be all across the industries. It can have the basic functionality which we have, but on top of whatever additional work needs to be done, instead of doing it's done by the developer, a lot of things can be done by configuration, like whether it's a rule, whether it's a, extension. So the Revenue Cloud is more flexible. It can be like it's not just direct sales, which is a sales rep is selling. It's more about like omni-channel, which if you have a Shopify store, right? If you have another website, if you have another partner, so they all can tag into Revenue Cloud. There are APIs available. There are functionalities available, which is like you can plug in and just start using the Revenue Cloud functionality. So this is what Revenue Cloud today look like. Remember, like the other diagram I showed you where everything was fragmented. Revenue Cloud is more of a linear approach where you can configure all of your products, which is called catalog, and then the CPQ, which is the configure price code. It has all the approvals, the prices, the code generation. Everything is linear, tightly connected to each other. The contracts that needs to be created, any orders. Once that order is fulfilled, like going back to the same example, say Best Buy have already sold 30 laptops. Now they need to track those laptops and honor those warranties. Like if there is a problem set back from in the Best Buy system, there should be a way to track whether a particular laptop or product is under warranty or out of warranty. So that's basically asset management, which was lacking in CPQ. And then like from a billing, it has more advanced billing, which is like I said, like payment processing. Everything ties back to the product, so we can have like more linear view and like more advanced functionalities. Like in this example, I just mentioned a hardware product, but a product could be a subscription-based product, which in this case, along with those laptops, maybe we bought some Microsoft 365 licenses. Maybe we bought some antiviruses. Maybe we bought some other subscriptions. So all of that can be further managed within the Salesforce Revenue Cloud. And there could be consumption-based products as well, right? So if you have a product which you only pay for what you use for, it could be like in e-signature, right? Like you are you can use 10 e-signatures every month, say DocuSign, for example, but anything beyond those 10 signatures, you are paying, $1 or £1 for each signature. Like I'm just, giving an example. So anything that you are using or consuming over the time, the vendor can charge you. So basically, that's called the consumption. All of that is Revenue Cloud is capable of managing all of that. So as I mentioned earlier, it could be a direct sales where a sales rep is selling. It could be a channel sales where the partner is selling. It could be in product, which you are already in app, like sale. Big example is you are in a phone or you are in Salesforce, you are buying something, or it could be e-commerce, like any Shopify store or any other e-commerce B2B commerce store. So all of that can be tied back to Revenue Cloud, and it will run on the same rules, same pricing. We can have rules where if we have different pricing, but it ties back to the same platform. So that's the Revenue Cloud in a nutshell. And I know like I have been talking a lot. I should take a moment and ask if there are any questions. I did not see. I
Chirag,
was
I've
not
got a
monitoring the chat.
question.
Sure.
Um, it's kind of a generic one, but if
Sure.
I was to start my Revenue Cloud journey,
Hmm.
how can I start it and what does that path look like for me if, for instance, I have an admin certification only?
So this is where the
Ah,
next part was.
amazing.
Okay, so I'll answer this question on my next slide, but I think like
Sure.
I was not moderating the chat. I don't know like if there was any question for me, but I can take a quick look. Okay, I think there was quite a bit of chat going on here. Okay,
I think that was the main one. So you
okay,
like, yeah, I'm keeping an eye. I will shout
okay,
if there is
cool,
anything. Yeah.
cool. All right. So from a Revenue Cloud project perspective, right, like what it means for taking a career leap in this area is basically there are different roles that you can be playing. One is the admin, which everybody knows, like what admin does. Like it's basically managing the system once it's implemented. Um, I mean, it could be an internal resource, or it could be like a third party that's supporting a client. Architect is essentially who understand the business requirement and translate into this, break it down into the system level, like how we can implement that business requirement in the system. Developer is whether it's a configuration or like a code, whatever approach we choose, who implement that technical requirement and like make it a functional requirement in make it functional, useful system process. Business analyst is more from a functional standpoint, and the CPQ specialist is it's not exactly a role. Anybody can be a CPQ specialist. Admin can be a CPQ specialist. BA can be a CPQ specialist, or a developer can be a CPQ specialist. But it's more of like in a SME or subject matter expert, because, like I said, Salesforce is mile wide, so no one person can do everything. So if you are a CPQ specialist who understand what Salesforce offers and what are the best practices to do certain things, like for example, we can do same thing in three different ways. You can write code, create a trigger, or you can create a flow. You can do some automation using like code or declarative way. So what should be the way we should what's the right way to do it? Are there any implications? So somebody who understands the CPQ product, who understand like how those products can be segmented, is basically like I'm calling it a CPQ specialist. You don't have to be just CPQ specialist. You can be a BA and understand CPQ. You can be a developer and understand CPQ. So
And Beach, I think you've got a question.
Yeah, it was just we're going through at the minute Revenue Cloud implementation, and I'd
mhm,
add two more on here that are quite important. So, because you need to think about the post-sale bit, DRO, things like that.
yeah,
You
yep,
involve a lot more if you've got a field service element, installation element, you can
mhm,
bring that on. So if you've got any people doing service desks, and there's also a huge finance element. You can get clever with billing, proration.
yes.
So if you're more finance orientated, you can become part of the project too.
Correct. No, thank you, Beach, for that. Like I said, like this is just scratching the surface. There are definitely more in-depth roles that you could be part of. Like, field services, it's itself is a different implementation or like different product, but how that can tie back to Revenue Cloud is the key role, and like somebody who understand how that handoff happens between different business functions, whether it's like the finance or field service, is definitely helpful.
Amazing. Thank you.
So coming back to your question, like Harpreet and I was just looking at like if there was any other question. I think no. So, where you should start, like everything I would say, like with starts with the fundamental, with the basics of an admin. So if you know your click path, you know what is object, what is field, what is profile, what is permission set, and things like that. So I would say start with being an admin and clear your concepts of an admin. And if you are clear on your concepts, you are already in the Salesforce ecosystem, whether you are admin or dev, then there are like some Rev Cloud specific trails that you can follow on Trailhead. There is not much, I want to say, advanced level information or resources on Salesforce Trailhead, but I will drop some more things in this chat, sorry, in this slides, which are could be third party or could be like not on Trailhead, but I have like some useful links. But to
Thank
start,
you.
yeah, yeah. But you start is basically like being a good admin or understand the core concepts, and then like to start the Rev Cloud, Trailhead is the best place. So get certified is again like it's optional, but it's essentially, if you have a target, you set a target that you want to get certified next month, next year. It just helps in your learning, and then you can quantify your goal. It's tangible goal that you're learning something, and then you are testing whether you are able to get that certificate or not. It's a controversial topic, but I still think it's valuable. Do get certified. There are Salesforce Revenue Cloud specific certification which just came out recently, but it still requires some hands-on. So here
Yeah.
I would say like get certification for the admin. Don't try with the Rev Cloud in the first go. Join communities like this, or there are like ton of communities available where you can learn Salesforce, you can learn Revenue Cloud, and then I think the key is practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not theoretical knowledge that's gonna help you. It's more about what you do in the project, what you do actually on the hands-on keyboard work. So that's what would help you, not just the concepts that you learn from Trailhead or like any documentation. So don't miss out on the practicing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
And
think
then
no,
it's
like,
thank you
important.
so much. Yeah.
Beach, do you have a
Oh,
question
it
or a
was it was
comment?
just to say CPQ Industries, which is what
Mm.
Revenue Cloud's based on. They've unleashed a whole load of things that used to be partner only. So if you're
Mhm.
still learning on Trailhead, it's actually pretty current information that's about a month old. It's like the whole load of things have been released, but it's not labeled as Revenue Cloud. But the information applies, and the certification, the test, is a really good one.
Yeah,
Amazing. Thank you.
yeah. And then there are Beach. I don't know, like if you're talking about the same thing, but like there are some training module on Trailhead which are specific to Revenue Cloud, and I
There
have,
are, but if you're
yeah,
going
Yeah,
deeper
it's
on like
been, I think
expression sets, all of
it's
that
been
jazz.
shared already. Yeah. It's been shared
yeah.
in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, I mean, like anyway, I will hand over this slide deck to you, and like this can be
Thank you.
distributed. There
Yeah.
are like all these resources. There are events and webinars which are conducted by Salesforce. There are partner learning camp events. There are, like I said, like there is no Salesforce or like there is no training coming from Salesforce, but there are like other partners who run trainings, and I have
Yeah.
also add some link here. You can obviously, you know, talk to them and evaluate whether it's a fit for you or not.
Cool.
And probably like, yeah, this last thing, I know like I'm probably
Yeah,
on
over.
time. Over. Okay. All right. Okay. So basically, like, the one thing which I want to say is like for RCA, it's level ground. It's a new product. Somebody who's a new or a veteran, it's a new product. So, everybody is learning. So it's a chance for you to rise and shine, give yourself a shot and learn it. There is a demand. It's a new product, but there is a demand. Companies are in need of such product. Like just take your advantage of your unique background, whether you're coming from business, you're coming from a technical side. It definitely there is a room. And one thing which I mentioned is like, which is, consistency wins. So keep progressing.
100%.
Yeah. And one keyword or like one thing is like chardikala. It's a Punjabi word. One new word you can learn is essentially, it's a state of mind. And I think it's aligns with the values which Harpreet mentioned earlier, like resilience, optimism, and joy. So stay in chardikala and keep shining.
Love that. Thank you so much, Chirag.
I appreciate it. Yes. A great talk. Thanks so much.